What's up, guys? It's Faded. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing awesome as always. And campaign launch week for MW3 is upon us. So today I decided to run through some gameplay features either making their debut or their triumphant return to the franchise. So that way you're in the know with what to expect when the early access campaign opens up in just 72 hours time. So let's not waste any of your time, as you guys already know how to support the channel if you're interested. With that out of the way, let's go over all of these features. So top of the list today is the detailed weapon stats. Now I know a lot of you guys that watch the channel loved Black Ops Cold War, so hearing the detailed stats we're going to be returning just put a massive smile on my face. It's nice to know that when I pick up a sniper for a quick scoping build that I'll be able to figure out the exact ADS times for each grip that I choose. Which not only is this a great addition, it also means the true game data on Twitter doesn't have to put nearly as much work in now when finding out attachment stats. And if you're watching this, dude, I appreciate your work, especially during the Warzone 1 era. You've helped out a ton of people. Now the next thing, because this is a sequel to MW2, that does mean the game will be carrying over a lot of the features from that game. One of them just happens to be weapon tuning. So most, if not all of you, already know my stance on the feature. I'm convinced that it's merely a gimmick and does little to nothing to actually make the gun easier or harder to use, but there are lots of people ready to jump to its defense, saying that it's one of the best features that the gunsmith has gotten. Now, maybe I just need more time with the feature, but I still don't think it offers really any value or incentive to use whatsoever. I find myself just hitting the firing range with untuned weapons most of the time, just putting the attachments that I want to use onto the gun and not really do much of anything else after that. And the third thing is, of course, what I just mentioned, the firing range. Now, I will give Infinity Ward credit for this. When the firing range launched, it was extremely bare bones. You would enter it with your weapon of choice, step up to the lane, shoot the targets, and that was pretty much it. Now you can play around with different settings for the practice dummies, even simulating DPS for Warzone by turning on armor for them, which I think is a very neat addition. And I feel that a firing range was something that this game has needed for a very, very long time. For the most decorated FPS franchise to not have a feature like this up until 19 years since the first game released is asinine. So many other shooting games have been around for a mere fraction of Call of Duty's lifespan have a firing range, Rainbow Six Siege being the biggest example. And XDefiant is slated to receive one when the game releases. So I hope that Sledgehammer can refine the firing range and add some new features that will help the enjoyment of MW3 when it releases. Hopefully even some features that will in turn entice people to start using the weapon tuning. Maybe that can win me over. Next thing we're going to discuss involves game modes. So how many people indulge in hardcore from time to time? Raise your hand. Well, those of you who are raising your hands, you will be happy to know that hardcore mode will be in the game on launch. So seeing that hardcore wasn't immediately available in MW2 was a huge disappointment, because it's where I go to grind camos because of the low health that everybody has, as it cuts the time to kill in half and makes long shots much easier to hit. Now, obviously, we didn't get hardcore until much later into the game, and it wasn't even hardcore at the start. It was a hybrid between that and the realism mode that was introduced in Modern Warfare 2019 called Tier 1 mode, and it took a ton of community protests to get Infinity Ward to finally change it back to the classic hardcore mode that we all know and love. But that just goes to show you how out of touch the current dev team are when it comes to making the games, because once they have a vision, it's nearly impossible to change it. Now, another mode that will be making a return is the criminally underrated War mode from Call of Duty World War II. So you may be asking yourselves, okay Kyle, what's the difference? Well, War is progression based. There is objective other than capping all 5 flags and holding them for a minute to nuke the lobby and win. If you go back and watch older World War II gameplay, you'll see that you're doing things like assisting military vehicles through objectives, building bridges, other things like that, all while trying to fight off the other players. So it's fun, fast-paced, and chaotic as all get out. It's definitely something to consider taking a look at, especially for those like myself who dumped some time into the game. And lastly, this is probably my favorite thing on the list, to be honest. One thing that isn't exactly gameplay oriented in a sense, but it's something that I'm sure will be music to a lot of you guys' ears, is that all of your double XP, be it weapon, level, battle pass, all those tokens will be right there for you once MW3 launches. So if you're watching this and you happen to have some tokens left, do not spend them. Use them when the game comes out, so that way you can get the jump on all the fresh new players and unlock your items faster. Well guys, that's going to do it for today's video. 6 features that will either be introduced or returned in Modern Warfare 3. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this in the comments down below. You guys already know how to support the channel if you want, and I will see you all in whatever video I upload next. Take care.